A little while ago, Open Air were in here, filming a day in the life of Michael Buerk. At the 4 p.m. news conference, nobody had the slightest idea what was going to be the major news story. And then shortly after that, Nigel Lawson resigned, and all hell broke loose. And this is the story of that story, which you didn't see on the 9 o'clock news.
Right, Mark, 9 o'clock.
Which thankfully we're not.
Well, we'll say prayers that we'll get the lead item, but it would help if I knew what the lead item would be. But it's grim. Ambulances. Well, I mean, there's a story either way, even if we have no either deadlock or decision.
At this stage, anyway, it's a very quiet day. And those are the most disappointing ones, really. I mean, any journalist wants a big story. It's going to pin the world back by the ears. It's really important news. It'll get people listening to the news and thinking, gosh, getting people on the edge of their seats because something really important is happening. That's the sort of thing that gives a journalist adrenaline, but at this stage it hasn't happened.
Press Association, Chancellor Nigel Lawson has resigned.
We've got Norman Shaw. We've got a crew at the house, and we're getting Sergeant into the studio for 5 minutes' time.
Okay. John Cole's been found, so John Cole does not need to be phoned.
Okay then, well thank you very much for your help.
Because the first thing that's going to happen is that there'll be some reaction on the street.
Tim!
Right. Okay. Is there somebody else in...
All right, okay, look, I'll soldier through anyway. We'll have a separate meeting we can take afterwards.
Could you phone him and do that? Okay.
Good evening. The headlines at 6 o'clock. The Chancellor, Nigel Lawson, has resigned.
Right. Okay. The strategy is we're going to build up blocks, which ought to be sufficiently simple that we can run them, even though some packages in an ideal world would be conflated. But the plan is we will assign producers to individual building blocks, and we'll see as we go whether they can be conflated. Building block 1, the basic news event, which Adrian Van Claveren should do with John Sargent. I think tactically my initial impulse is that Sargent is going to have to stay down there. It's clearly tonight, wherever Lawson is, whatever shots we can get of Lawson tonight, if we have to begin with a zoom in to an empty building, that's where we go.
Rob Orchard is there to try and interview Doorstep Lawson when he leaves. We know he's in the Treasury at the moment.
We then go back through the quarter-inch exchange in the House of Commons, in which Thatcher seemingly backed with this new formula both Walters and Lawson, and then crucially we soak up as much of the front page reaction as we can. As many decent, heavy-hitting Tories, backbenchers, front benchers, anything we can, on the Green, and also clearly Smith, and also clearly a Liberal Democrat. And a piece to camera, and it can't do much more than that.
Jenny's outside the Treasury, I think.
But Walters, age 43, Johns Hopkins University, transport specialist, Belden bus, as much as you give me on Walters, there will have to be a graphic. We're very, very short of Walters shots, we know that.
John Lever, John Bailey.
Hello, Mr. Lever.
Right, there then is a Lawson profile, which actually may precede this in the running order, which, Julian Rush, where is he?
I think he's a BT13 at the moment.
Well, I'll get him out of here. Julian Rush with John Cole is on his way up here, we'll do a Lawson profile. It's obviously just as much as he can possibly get available at the time. And obviously we're limited in what we can do. But tracking back, Wunderkind, medium-term financial strategy, the architect of the election triumph allegedly in '87, things began to go wrong, criticised very heavily for shadowing the Deutschmark last year, interest rates fiasco, heavy attack, Mansion House speech, all the rest of it. Lawson profile.
Barclays International, 29 Grace Church Street.
The following are the people that we need to trace. We must make certain that the bid is in for the Treasury. Lawson. Any other Treasury Minister. We will phone Downing Street and see who Downing Street, if anybody, is prepared to put up for the government. They probably won't put up Thatcher, they may put up somebody else, a loyalist. It seems to me Heseltine, who probably won't speak. Biffin, who probably will speak, who on this story will be acceptable, even if he appears on Channel 4 News.
At 4 minutes to 6, someone said the Chancellor's resigned. And I thought, this is a joke. This is some kind of wind-up.
The news organiser, a news flash from PA, John Major has been appointed the new Chancellor.
That's hysterical. That's so crazy.
Thanks, John.
That's really exciting.
Hello, it's BBC Television 9 o'clock news, Adrian Van Claveren. Serious request. First of all, where is Mr. Lawson at the moment? Are you able to say that?
So can we phone up the Financial Times and see where Samuel Britton is? And if he's available, bring him in.
Is there any possibility of an interview with him for tonight's 9 o'clock news?
There will be shots of Lawson, shots of Walters, shots of the Treasury tonight, shots of Downing Street tonight. Even if it's a live shot out of the OB, there'll be a shot of Downing Street tonight.
Sergeant is doing a package for 9.
Is he? Okay.
And then once he's finished that, we'll be able to go to one of the live cameras. But I want somebody on the end of another live camera in Downing Street, in case anything's happening there, live at 9 o'clock.
Home Secretary is now David Waddington.
We get Kenneth
Douglas Hurd. Yes, fine gentleman.
Bob Chons is across it downstairs with Gary Rogers, all right?
It's N1, okay. Newsflash in N1. N1, where's Andrew?
Okay.
Douglas Hurd. Yeah, he's Douglas Hurd. His place at? Do we have a new Home Secretary?
Yes, David Waddington.
Yeah, his place at the Home Office.
And then the announcement follows the dramatic news earlier this evening that...
and don't forget, Walters has also resigned. We haven't put that on the air, right? Yeah, I've spoken to close. 25 seconds. And then I say more at 9.
New Home Secretary is David Waddington, at present government employee.
We haven't told them who the new Foreign Secretary is.
Yeah, go do that.
Yes, it is.
New Chancellor. The new Chancellor.
New Chancellor.
News Organiser, comment statement, line 2.
Okay.
Line 2.
As the House will be aware, my right honourable friend, the member for Blaby, has resigned as Chancellor of the Exchequer. My right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, learnt of his intention to resign just before 2:30, immediately before she went over to the House to prepare.
Everybody not doing anything? Everybody's free?
Germany reports that a British soldier and a child have been shot dead at the West German petrol station.
IRA shot dead a soldier and a child in Germany.
Both of us, presumably.
Yeah. Can you work with Mark Easton?
Well done, that was well worth doing. Thanks very much. Do we have any more?
Mark Easton. Karen.
Thank you.
Buy yourself thinking time, and Mike thinking time for the packages.
I
mean, Baker comes at the
What I
end.
suggest is that we can do a quick skirt with Ashdown.
I've got 2 more words to write at this, and then you can have it.
Clark probably ought to come towards the end because he can come to all the other changes, so that's all right. Kinnick not going to do it, almost certainly, and he's going to be in the sergeant package, assuming the sergeant package is ready on time. So now it becomes a question of, if we go with Ashdown, who, as it were, in terms of more representation, ought to go immediately after the sergeant, where we stuff Owen. All right, I'll sit there.
But long before then, you've got a cop. It's those sort of senior former cabinet ministers who are the only people who are going to speak tonight, if anyone is.
Yes, Whitelaw won't. And Prior, we've had a message won't, though we haven't actually spoken to him directly, but I'll try him.
Yeah. Captain John Major, Captain Walgrave, the Treasury tonight, which should be a slow zoom into a sort of window in the Treasury, right window, and then the Downing Street line.
In private, senior Tories were convinced that...
Sir William Clark will be from Norman Shore North. All right.
Mark, Baker has said yes.
In Downing Street?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Does Phil know this?
Nobody knows that.
Nobody knows it, right, okay.
It's actually up there. It's actually into the city. Okay.
8 is ready. 6 rewrite not ready.
15, swear, 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
and
0.
The Chancellor of the Exchequer, Nigel Lawson, has resigned.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Run titles.
Good evening. The Chancellor, Nigel Lawson, resigned tonight, taking the government, Westminster and financial markets around the world totally by surprise.
It's not true, I think, to say that I kept a cool head or that we all kept a cool head. There needs to be a degree of, if not panic, but controlled anxiety.
It was hairy, but it's a great story, and you just don't think until you've finished it quite what you've been through.
I mean, look, basically, it's a job that anybody can do. I mean, it's a very, very easy job.
Do it all again tomorrow.